Okay, the forest has gotten just too much. I'm going to rework this tank, but I wanted to capture it before I touched it. I'm going to try and break out the Madagascar lace plant and the Amazon so you can see them. And I've got to do something with the kabamba on both sides. So hang in there and we'll see what happens when we come back in a couple minutes, okay? Meanwhile, you can see where everything is right now. Gotta get that red Amazon out here so you can see it. That Lagwigi's got to get some more light. And we've got that red kabamba, and from the top it really looks great. And that's the rotilla over here. So we shall see. I love the forest, but even the forest has gotten too thick now. Well, Happy New Year! It's January 1st, 2019, and there's been some updates to the corner tank. You recall that it's been like a forest in there, and so without taking away any of the plants that you see here, I've taken away a couple of fixtures in the back to give it more depth and moved the plants around to focus on some of the more beautiful plants. Okay, turns out I do have a bucket full of Java fern that I had to take out, and I have no idea what I'm going to do with that. But anyway, here's the new tank. And when I say new, I mean I took every plant out, did a thorough cleaning of the gravel, and it was black, which is no wonder these plants were doing so well with the great root systems that had developed with that fertilization program. And so what you see here is a better view of many of the plants. The kabamba that you saw on the right hand side, that forest, has been moved to the back. The rotilla, which was on the left, is now just right of center to the back again. That's where it started out, back in the center. And over on the left hand side, it's opened up now with the corkscrew vallisneria and just a little bit of kabamba. But the real driving force behind this was that huge Amazon sword plant to the left and the Madagascar lace plant to the right. They just are such beautiful plants that I didn't want to lose them in terms of highlighting their beauty by giving them their own space. So I separated them. One was behind the other, and now they're each in a separate part of the tank. And the other important part was the addition or the movement of that red sword plant in the center. So let's zoom in and take a quick look at some of these. And so here we see some of the corkscrew val moved to the right hand side. That Ludwigia was buried before, and now it's the extreme right hand side. The crypt plants, which were in the center as one big huge plant, turned out to be 5 different plants. So now there's a row of them that have their own space. And so you can see just the lead ones there. And then the banana plants, there's 2 of them there. They lost their bananas some time ago, but they still have that beautiful green leaf on either side of those crypts. And so then you get into the red, and I'll get you a view of that from above in just a minute. And then surprisingly enough, we have 3 Amazon sword plants. One small one in the front, one medium one just behind it, and then that great big large one behind that. So they are forming a section of the tank which was focused just on Amazon sword plants. And then to the left you see the forest that was there of the corkscrew vals now sort of separated out A couple of them went to the office tank. Some of them, as you just saw, went to the right. And I kept quite a few of these together, and they look so good over there. I didn't want to lose that, but at the same time I need to move them back to be able to highlight the other plants. In the back you have not only the green kabamba, but also have beautiful red kabamba. And so you can see that sort of in the front there. And the other interesting thing is, you can see right in the center of that Amazon sword plant, the baby plants coming up again. I took off one of those stems that had died off, and for all I know, some of the small Amazons there may have been from one of those baby plants. I did move one over to the betta tank, and I moved another one over to the bow tank. So this gives it a very different look, and I really like the way this has come out. It was a lot of work, because like I said, everything came out of this tank. And it's a 55-gallon tank, very heavily planted, obviously. And I like the way this looks now, even though the Java fern is pretty much out of here. But the plants go all the way to the back now, where some of the ornaments were. And so it's all plant now. And I've got lights that go all the way to the back now, so hopefully they'll get enough light back there. But I'm really curious to see how this grows out. Let's take a quick look at that red Amazon. Isn't that beautiful? Right in the shadow of the Madagascar lace plant, and with the bright green of the banana plants just to the right, setting it off. And then, like I said, the cryptocarine are 5 smaller plants now, and really curious to see how they make out. I think you get a different view of the tank when you're looking down on it. Hence, I'm moving the tripod around to give you that better view. That's the third of those algae eaters. The one that I left here, the other 2 are over in the bow tank. And those barbs, those black barbs, long fin barbs, are just gorgeous. And you'll notice, if we look closely, the one has the orange on the bottom, so does the other one, and the third one doesn't. And I don't know if the 2 are males that you're seeing right there in front, and that third one may be a female. And they hang around a lot together. They chase each other around in a very friendly way. So I wouldn't be surprised if somehow they mate. I don't know what would survive from a mating in this particular tank. And then the catfish, we do have some smaller catfish in here. And when I got this tank down to where there was nothing left in it, we did find the pleco that I thought was still in here, and it turns out it is. And it is huge. It's now about 9 inches long compared to the small one that we put in there. So it's growing very nicely. And that red plant, now you can really see it. Looks great against that light green, doesn't it? The Madagascar lace plant is still doing very well. I thought the leaves were starting to darken, and this one right in front is. But it's replaced by probably about 10 leaves on this plant at this point, all of them in the 22 or higher inch range. So they do get up to the top water if they stretch out. Anyway, curious to see what you think versus the overgrown view that I gave you at the beginning of this particular video. Now the next thing we're going to have to do is to do the same type of thing for this particular tank, because as you can see it's pretty much overgrown at this point, which the fish are fine with, but it does get to a point where you can only replant so many plants, so it may take the time. And you see that upside down catfish in the center. He's huge. Very seldom see him out. See a bunch of the small angels up toward the top there. We've lost a couple angels in recent weeks, like 3 of them. But look at the size of him, huh? And here comes that beautiful betta, the white betta. Disappears back in the plants and been coming out much more so I've been able to get better views of them for you. So nothing new in this particular tank at this point. A lot of floating plants here. So that'll be the next project for the new year. Hope all is well with your tanks. Always appreciate you stopping by. Happy New Year and good fishing for the year to come.